done a lot of great things for himself. Worked for the post office, and raised a big family. Yeah, that made me happy. Yeah, proud of him. Yeah, that's me around Christmas time. What are you laughing about?
You see how fast LV talks? Now, see, I had to, what? Bruce can understand every word he's saying. That's that bond.
There's certain things that I don't talk about because a lot of people don't understand. LV understands. He was there,
When I first came back from Vietnam, I went home. I was angry at the world. I got over it because I realized you can't keep this anger in you. It'll eventually eat you up.
LV doesn't have any bad bone in his body, except all the ones that he got wounded with.
1, 2, yeah.
Made me realize I shouldn't hold things in.
USA has its problem, no question.
We've tried a couple times for you to talk about what happened on the helicopter after you guys got hurt, on the way to the field hospital. But we've always had to stop.
I know. Yeah, it's difficult for me.
Is it easier to talk about it when you're next to him?
I don't know. Well, I remember being put on the helicopter. They got you out first, and then I was second. Yeah, I remember taking off.
Give a little shot of morphine and stuff like that. I was going in and out for a while.
Oh, we had some prisoners. They looked like young boys like us. Jesus, oh. They just throw them out. He started pushing the prisoners out. And then he looked at me and grabbed me. And the way he grabbed me and stuff, I knew I was next. And all of a sudden, there's LV. He just said my name. What's going on?
When I woke up, Bruce, somebody pushing him, and he was sliding out. And I grabbed him and saying, he's my friend, he's not the enemy. And I pulled him back in so he wouldn't fall out the helicopter.
He grabbed on my arm and pulled me and just held on to me like that while the helicopter's going on. It was a long flight to the hospital. Couldn't breathe sometimes. But he was there for me. He was there. Yeah. Thank you for saving my life.
Oh, Bruce.
Twice. Yeah.
You got that.
I didn't want you to leave me again.
I know.
Something that I've been carrying for a long time. Weight on my shoulders.
How are you feeling now?
A lot of pressure up me or something. Relief.
How are you feeling now?
Good morning. You're filming me right now. I mean, you on TV right now.
You done messed up. He done let me find out he done messed up now. So I ain't gonna let him go.
I felt found. Yeah. I'll still be mean, crazy, angry. And I'll still feel resentment. Crazy.
I volunteered to go over there, spill a lot of blood. I volunteered
But
to go over there,
reconnecting with LV
spill a lot of blood.
mended a lot of my hurt.
by the United States and endorsed by Israel. It uses armed private contractors to provide security at corridors and hubs designated by Israel. The organization currently has 3 functioning aid distribution points that are meant to serve a population of more than 2 million people. That's compared to about 400 sites of the previous UN-led distribution network. 2 of the aid hubs are in Rafah in the south and 1 in central Gaza. None of them are located in the north. Tens of thousands of Palestinians are forced to make treacherous journeys on foot from different corners of the Strip to the 3 Israeli designated hubs. UN and aid groups have accused the group of weaponizing aid, warning that it could serve to depopulate northern Gaza as planned by the Israeli military. Well, Pietro Stefanini is a researcher in critical humanitarian studies. He believes the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is being used as a cover to mask genocide.
It is a means to legitimize genocidal violence. Since the beginning of the genocide, starvation has been a tool to implement the genocide. And it is, this foundation, an effort to conceal genocidal intent by framing this plan in liberal terms and by appropriating the practices of the humanitarian system. But in reality, they're trying to establish internment zones, or what we have come to know as concentration camps. I mean, we've had in the past and in other wars, militaries provide humanitarian aid, but this latest scheme seems quite unprecedented, even though it seems to have built on previous tactics that Israel has been trying to implement, where they used their own military to distribute aid, or they tried to find Palestinians not affiliated to Hamas to distribute the aid, but these schemes failed. And so that is why they've tried to come up with a new solution and try to come up with this private security contractors or mercenaries to do the job.
Ukrainian drone attacks have hit 2 residential buildings in the Russian region of Kursk. Officials say 2 teenagers, aged 13 and 16, are among at least 7 people injured in the strikes on the town of Rilsk. Ukraine's president says the next round of talks with Russia to end the fighting cannot and should not be empty. Volodymyr Zelensky is accusing Moscow of trying to ensure Monday's meeting in Turkey brings no results. Zelensky met US Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal on Friday in Kyiv. Graham says President Donald Trump expects concrete actions from Moscow. Russia says it will present its memorandum at the Istanbul meeting, and Kyiv wants to see the terms beforehand.
Right now, neither us in Ukraine nor Turkey as the host country have any information about Russia's so-called memorandum. For some reason, the Russians are keeping this document under wraps. It's a very weird move. They don't seem to get the format at all.
John Hendren reports now from Kyiv on the potential talks in Istanbul.
Ukraine says it's ready for peace talks with Russia. It's ready for talks as soon as June 2nd. That's when Russia has asked for these talks. But it hasn't confirmed, Ukraine that is, that it is going to the talks. And there's a reason for that. They say they don't have all the information that they need. Both sides agreed to offer a memorandum to the other side outlining what they would need in order to come to a peace agreement. Ukraine says it has written that agreement and submitted it to Russia. Russia says it has written that agreement, but Ukraine says it has not received that. The meeting is on Monday, and the Ukrainians say they need to have that information in order to prepare for that meeting, to have serious talks. And as a result, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, says he doesn't believe that Putin is serious about coming to an agreement. In a social media post, Zelensky wrote, Russia is trying to turn negotiations into a laughingstock, using negotiations as cover, but preparing for offensive operations at the front, striking our cities and villages daily, and rejecting all proposals for a ceasefire. This happens as an American delegation. Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Republican and a Democrat, have arrived in Kyiv, and they wanted to talk about their sanctions bill This is what Lindsey Graham had to say.
As the Senate begins to move, you'll hear more from President Trump. I think he's reached a point now where he is looking for concrete action by Russia, and unfortunately, nothing has happened. I don't believe Russia is interested in peace. As we speak, they're building up their forces along Ukraine's border for a counteroffensive in the summer or the fall.
That sanctions bill would levy a 500% tariff on any country that buys energy from Russia. That's important because Russia made more money on energy last year than Ukraine received in foreign aid for the war. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
The Kremlin says it will share its vision of the ceasefire with Ukraine only in Istanbul, not earlier. From Moscow, here's Dorsa Jabari.
The Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov saying that the Russian delegation will be heading to Istanbul on Monday to hold the second round of direct negotiations with the Ukrainian counterparts. The Russian delegation is headed by Vladimir Medinsky, who has been in charge of these negotiations since the war broke out in 2022. He is a top aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and he will continue to lead the Russian delegation, bringing with him a memorandum. According to officials here, this memorandum includes the demands that Russia has. According to the Kremlin, they're not going to make public details of what Russia is asking for, but based on what we have heard over the past few weeks, it is clear that Russia is going to continue to make